Good morning, dear students. Hope you must be doing well and completing your work in time. In this lesson, the first topic is already covered, that is about DNA replication and the importance of variations. We have seen everything in detail and hope the concepts are clear related to those topics. Okay, today we are going to start with the second unit of the lesson where we will learn the following things. That is modes of reproduction used by single organisms. That day also I told you that single organisms means unicellular organisms and some of the simple multicellular organisms. Simple multicellular organisms means they have multiple cells but their body design is not complex. Okay, so they can go under reproduction process by using these ways, and they are fission means splitting, right, where we will discuss about binary and multiple fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, sporulation and vegetative propagation. Okay, these things already you have learnt in the previous years also, and even in the month of April these things were already taught to you. Okay, so let us start with fission. Here we will discuss first about binary fission. Binary means into two. So it is a type of asexual reproduction where the parent divides into two daughter cells. Please go through the diagram given here and you have to learn how to draw. The first picture is of the parent cell. You can see the cytoplasm and chromosomes are shown, followed by the process of DNA replication means splitting of nucleus, right, division of nucleus, followed by the division of cytoplasm. The process is known as cytokinesis and division of nucleus is known as karyokinesis. And finally, after the cytoplasm gets divided, two identical daughter cells will be produced. Identical, now hope you know what is the meaning of identical. Identical and same, they are different things. Okay, so from one parent cell two daughter cells are produced. So here no existence of parent is there. So in binary fission what happens, from a single parent cell two daughter cells are produced. That is why this process is known as binary fission. And which are the steps involved in this process? Dividing the nucleus into two nuclei, the process is known as karyokinesis. Next is construction of the parent cell and division of cytoplasm through the process of cytokinesis, and splitting of parent cell into two equal and identical daughter cells. Equal distribution of cytoplasm will take place. Okay, so these are the three steps along with the diagram. You have to learn it by heart. All the six types of asexual reproduction, wherever the diagrams are there, whatever steps are there, each and every method, each and every steps you have to learn along with the diagrams. Okay, so entire things of this session has to be done for 3 times. Okay, start with multiple fission. The name itself tells that the fission is happening but multiple times. Just have a look at the diagram given. The parent cell with the nucleus is getting divided. The nucleus is getting divided in many nuclei, right, contained in a cyst. Cyst is the protective layer. Now when do we need the protection? When some conditions are unfavorable. So multiple fission happens in unfavorable conditions, right? So to protect own self, the cell will create a cyst within which the nucleus will get divided into many nuclei. And when the situation is under control, when the conditions are under control and favorable for that particular organism, this cyst will get burst and the nuclei will be released with some content of the cytoplasm. So cyst will break and daughter cells will be released. So from one parent cell many daughter cells will be produced in multiple fission. But in case of binary fission, the parent cell is getting completely separated into two daughter cells, so no existence of parent will be observed in binary fission. But in case of multiple fission, it may be possible that some quantity of cytoplasm will be remaining as the part of residue. So here the parent cell will not be disappearing completely. Okay. Multiple fission is the process of asexual reproduction in which instead of two daughter cells, many daughter cells are produced from the parent cell. Repeated division of nucleus in unfavorable conditions within the cyst, which is a protective layer. Second, what happens? Each nucleus along with the little bit of cytoplasm forms a membrane around it, and when favorable condition arrives, the cyst bursts and releases many daughter cells. Okay, so these are the three steps you have to learn along with the diagram. And the first point is the definition of multiple fission. Here are some examples which undergo multiple fission. Okay, you have to learn it. Do it for 3 times. Next we will discuss about budding. Budding means a bud-like structure. Okay, from bud-like structure the daughter cell will be produced. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which a new organism develops from an outgrowth or bud due to cell division at one particular site. You must have seen a flower bud, right? How does it look? A very small structure. From that bud entire flower will be blooming, right? So here in case of budding process also, from the parent cell, or I can say the body of parent, due to some reasons a bud like structure will be grown, or I can say due to several cell division at a particular site, some outgrowth will be produced which is known as bud. And look at the diagram here. See, you can see in the parent hydra at the bottom side of the parent body a bud like structure is grown in the second figure, followed by the formation of the daughter cell just like the parent cell. And when the daughter cell is completely produced or grown like the parent cell, it will get detached from the parent body. So here daughter cell and parent cell, they both are different. So here also you can say that in case of budding, the parent cell is not losing its identity. Okay. The small bulb-like projection coming out from the body is called a bud. Organisms like hydra use regenerative cells for reproduction in the process of budding. This bud then grows gradually to form the small hydra. Finally, the tiny new hydra detaches itself from the body of parent hydra and lives as a separate organism. Okay, this detachment will happen only when the daughter hydra will be completely grown. Okay, let us move to the next. Fragmentation. Fragmentation means small fragments, right? From small fragments, if the new individual will be grown, that process is known as fragmentation. Just have a look here. Spirogyra. This is the diagram of Spirogyra I have given you. Okay, the same diagram you can see in your textbook also. So from the parent Spirogyra, 3 fragments are separated due to any reason. Okay, it can be anything, any kind of damage or breaking or so. Okay, now from that detached fragment, the entire Spirogyra will be formed. Now the reason behind this is still under process, that how come it is possible, but assumptions are there that may be possible that the detached part must be having some somatic cells or reproductive cells which are allowing the entire Spirogyra which is missed will be grown. Okay. Fragmentation is a method of asexual reproduction where the body of the organism breaks into smaller pieces accidentally through wave action or by death and decay of older parts. These smaller parts are called fragments, and each fragment grows into an adult individual. Okay, let us move to the next. Regeneration. Regeneration means something is regenerating, reproducing, right? It is the ability of a simple organism to regrow its lost parts. It is not actually a process of reproduction. Please make sure this statement, it can be asked for give reason also. If the lost part contains enough genetic information from the parent, it can regenerate into an entirely new organism. Just let's take an example that in an accident, if a person has lost his hand, so is it possible that the person or the human whomsoever has lost his or her hand will be able to regenerate that hand? No, it is not possible in case of a human being, because we are having a very complex body design, right? So regeneration of certain organs in our body, it's not possible. Few, very few tissues or organs are regenerated, okay, but that is not given in our textbook, so we will not fall that much into detail, okay. But here one statement is given that if the lost part contains enough genetic information, that is nuclear material, right, from the parent, then that lost part will be able to regenerate into entirely new organism, right. One example I would like to give you here, that if the tail of lizard is lost due to some reason, okay, you must have seen that uh, how lizard and their tail reacts when they get detached from each other, right. So it doesn't mean that from that lost tail entire lizard will be reproduced, because that tail is not containing the genetic material, so that entire lizard will be re- will be produced from that tail, right. So in case of such type of examples, it is not possible that new organism is produced. So that is why it is said that it is not actually process of reproduction, okay. In case of planaria, if planaria has got cut into three pieces, from each of the pieces a new planaria will be grown, right. It is said that if you make thousands of pieces also, from those thousands of pieces also new planaria daughter cells will be produced. But researches are going on behind this, that how come this is possible, right, because they are not visible to our naked eyes also. Then also such things are happening, means some, miracle must be there. Fine. Here I have shown you the regeneration process in starfish also. You can see that somehow the parent starfish has got cut into two pieces. Upper three arms and lower two arms are detached. But at the end you can see two daughter starfish are produced. Okay, how come? Through the process of regeneration, means due to some reason some genetic information must be present in that particular lost part, and due to that two daughter starfish are produced, okay. Now let us see vegetative propagation. It is the mode of asexual reproduction in plants. Plant parts are detached from the parent and form a new plant. Structures which help in vegetative propagation are called vegetative propagules. There are two types of vegetative propagation, and they are natural vegetative propagation and artificial. Natural means it is happening naturally, and artificial means we have to involve our own help, right. So in natural vegetative propagation, the propagation happens through the stems, roots, leaves and buds automatically, right. But in case of artificial propagation, we have to take the help of different processes like cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture. Tissue culture is a kind of artificial things which is very common nowadays, because you must have seen decorative plants with so many colorful flowers and different shapes, right. How come it is possible that uh, some flowers are resembling the older version which you have noticed, but the new ones which you all are able to see today, they are completely new, but some of the characteristics are still present. So what actually happens in tissue culture, that the respective tissues or respective traits, genes I can say, they are separated from those particular plants, and they are given the artificial culture or artificial environment where this tissue will be growing, right? Once they are in the fully grown conditions, after that they are inserted into the plants, and this way the tissue culture happens. Okay, through stems, roots, leaves, and buds. If you, I think you must have learnt it in the previous years, that if you want to grow potatoes at home, you can use the tubers which are present in the potatoes, right? Right. If you want to grow the ginger, you can indirectly sow that ginger stem in the soil itself. Though after a few months, you will be able to get the ginger, right? So these are the natural vegetative propagation method through which you will be able to get the new plants, right? But few are the, advantages and disadvantages of this method. Let us have a look. Advantages are such. First, we will discuss only about the advantages. New individuals produced have exactly identical qualities as their parents. That is, all the desired characteristics are found in new plants. Okay, whichever plants are sown or whichever plants are planted, you are going to get the same daughter plants. Okay, it helps in the preservation of useful parent characters in the next generation. As compared to the plant propagation by seeds, it is a rapid, cheap, and easier method of plant propagation. For example, certain plants like lilies, which usually take few hours to flower, can made to do so within a year by this technique. Even one example is given in your textbook also about the potatoes, that if you use the tubers, or I can say in simple words, those white color eyes, right? If you grow potatoes by using those tubers, you will be able to get the yield within 3 or 4 months. But if the same thing happens through the seed method, then almost a year or 15 months will be taken, right? So this propagation method, vegetative propagation method, is quite rapid and cheap and easier method. It usually happens, or it is usually used for the seedless plants. Okay, the process makes possible for the production of seedless varieties like banana, orange, rose, jasmine, etc. So these are the advantages. Along with advantages, there are few disadvantages also, like undesirable characteristics cannot be removed, leads to overcrowding around the parent plant. Plants are less adaptable to the environment, so they can be easily decayed, and if any diseases occur in the mother plant, then it will get transmitted to the child plant also. Now, regarding the second disadvantage point, that is leads to overcrowding around the parent plant. Now, uh, in the natural vegetative propagation, one method is there by buds, right? You must have seen the bryophyllum leaf. If not seen, you can just have a look in your textbook also, it is shown there also. About this you have learnt in standard 8 also, right? So from the bud, like small tuber like structures are present at the edge of the leaves of this bryophyllum plant, right? When these leaves fall on the ground, from each of those tubers new plant will be arising. So you can just imagine that on a single leaf almost 15 to 20 tubers are there. There are several leaves on that particular plant. So if each and every leaves will grow into the new individual daughter plant, then think about, the daughter plant will not be getting minerals in the sufficient quantity, sunlight, water, everything, whichever things are required for the process of photosynthesis, the plants have to survive, or I can say the plants have to fight for that. So this second point is pointing that it leads to the overcrowding. Okay, next, the daughter plants are less adaptable to the environment, so they get easily decayed. And the last, if the mother plant is already infected, the same infection will be carried out into the daughter plant. Okay, spore formation and sporulation is the last type of asexual reproduction. You must have seen this diagram in your textbook also, and in grade 8 also. And to explain this easily, I would like to give you the simple example of the bread which is at home. You must have noticed that after 4 or 5 days, if by mistake you have not used those breads, then some colorful patches are observed, right? Or if suppose in the school for few days you have remained absent, and by mistake you have forgotten your tiffin box in the school, then after a week when you will open that tiffin box, you will be able to notice the colorful patches inside your tiffin box, or even the white color, spongy formation, or even the foul smell will be noticed. Now how come this is possible? Because the organism, the natural organisms which were present in your food, they have undergone sporulation process. Now let us see what happens in this process. It is a method in asexual reproduction which generally happens in some organisms like fungi and bacteria. In this, the parent organism generates thousands of spores which individually grow in a new individual. Spores, they are the tiny, mustard like seeds. You must have seen mustard seeds, right? In the figure itself you can see the spores are round shaped bodies which remain inactive till they get the favorable conditions, right? And we know that the favorable conditions for fungi and bacteria are the moisture, right? So when they will get the favorable conditions, these spores will get burst from sporangium, and they will start getting multiply, they will be multiplied for several times under the favorable conditions, and so we get those colorful patches. These spores are microscopic, multi-layered and round in shape, and grow only in suitable conditions, into bracket moist conditions, right? When spores mature, sporangia burst and spores are carried to different location by air, wind, water. When spores fall on a suitable ground, they germinate and develop in new individuals. So if you notice that the bread which was kept for 4 to 5 days, and if you keep on observing those colorful patches within a day or two, not within a day or two, within few hours only, you will be able to notice that entire bread is covered with those colorful patches. So once these spores will get the favorable conditions, you cannot stop them, right? Because their rate of multiplication will be very higher. Okay, so that's all for today. Today we have learned all the types of asexual reproduction. You have to learn each and every method. I'm telling you once again, do it for 3 times. Learn how to draw the diagrams, because I think maximum 3 mark question is asked from this type. Okay, so thank you. Have a good day.